The secret sauce is courage. Yes, yes, courage. The definition of courage is the ability to do the things that frighten you. So, why do you need courage? Why do you need the secret sauce? What is this whole thing? So, if you are attempting a quantum leap, meaning you want to achieve your dream life, you want to live out all the things that you desire and just be the best version of yourself, you need the courage to jump. Do you remember as a child if you ever jumped off a diving board or jumped into the pool? Were you one of those children that were too afraid to jump? Or did you just take that leap? That courage of taking the leap is exactly what is required to quantum leap into the reality that you desire. So there you have it. The secret sauce is courage. Today we are going over the secret sauce, which is courage, and the components of the secret sauce. I have two blog posts which I posted previously. The first one is how to build a business with creativity and freedom. And the second one is courage is the secret sauce. And these are both a part of a series that I'm thinking about starting called The Artistic Entrepreneur. And with this, we are going to discuss different things that you need to be a successful artistic entrepreneur, because not every artistic entrepreneur is successful. And there's also nuances that go into being an artist and being an entrepreneur. Some artists think that they will become entrepreneurs based on their art alone, which is possible. You can definitely be successful like that. But being an entrepreneur is something that takes more skill. You have to have certain skill sets. And I've been learning along the way. I'm still learning. That's the thing. This is a lifelong journey of learning. And what comes with success when being an artistic entrepreneur is knowing how to balance both of those sides. But if you are an artistic entrepreneur, then you will have these qualities that we are about to go over. And if you're wondering if you are going to be a successful entrepreneur that is an artist also, then you will likely have these qualities. So let's get into the deep depth of what courage really is, why you need it, and who needs it. So those blogs will be linked below. If you are more of a textual learner and you just want to bypass this video and go read, go ahead and do that. But let's get into why you need courage. Or let's start with how do you even get courage, okay? So we get courage from God. That's how you get the courage. You need to know that you have a connection with God. You are a being that has powers, basically. You are what are those superhero? You are a superhero, okay? You need to adopt this mindset that you are a superhero. Every superhero has courage, and we get that from God. Knowing that God walks before us on our path is exactly what's going to give us the courage. Knowing that He already paved the way. So, whatever is on the way, you already got through it. You already jumped over that hurdle. If you see me looking down, I'm looking down at some notes I got right here. With God, anything is possible. And the Bible speaks greatly about what faith is. And faith is essentially following God's voice inside of you and aligning your actions with that voice. And if you're interested in faith, how to get faith, what faith looks like, I have a podcast on this that I have posted, and it is a food adventure story that's going through what faith is. It's pretty cool. So go watch that if you are interested in learning about faith. Okay, so when you have faith, you take actions on the things that are unseen because you know already how things play out. Because God told you, right? That intuition, even if you don't hear words exactly, right? You're going to have a feeling of what is right, and you're going to follow that feeling without seeing anything happening. You are going to go through with that. So when you have that faith and then you go through with the action and then realize the things that you have had faith in, those things come to fruition, you are filled with courage along the way. That takes courage to go after the things that are unseen. So here is a Bible verse, because God says it better than me. It's Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 8. And the Lord, he it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. All right. So you are a vessel for something greater. If God's walking before you, if God's paving the path, it is for a reason. You are doing God's work here. Your mission is to do something that is aligned with your gifts that God has given you. And knowing this will give you courage. Knowing that the things that you are doing are greater than you will give you the courage to go through with it, because it's not about you. When it becomes not about you, then you kind of have more drive. Sometimes we need a reason to push us forward, to push us into the things that we need to do. So this is how you're going to get courage. You're going to get courage from God, and you're going to get courage by knowing that it's bigger than you. It's not just about you. A practical way to get courage is to do the things that you fear repeatedly. Okay? And once you keep doing the things that you fear, this will mean a few things. You'll get familiar with that feeling. So you'll need bigger things to scare you, which means that you will be growing as you do the things that you fear. If you conquer that first thing and you do something bigger after, if you conquer the first thing and you need something bigger after, you've gotten bigger, right? It's not scary anymore. The old thing that scared you is not scary because you've done it. So the new thing that's scary is going to be bigger than the old one, or at least different. And you facing those fears is going to propel you into the version of yourself that you would like to see. When you're facing fears, you're essentially going into the unknown. The place that the person that you become is unknown, right? You don't know exactly, you're not that person yet per se, but that person is existing. So when you kind of step into the void of becoming that person, that is how you become the person. So you step into the things that you fear and conquer those things. And so your familiarity with facing your fears will serve as a cushion as you're going along facing the bigger and bigger fears. You will be familiar with that feeling of what it is to do something that is scary. So you'll be like, okay, I did that before. I jumped into the pool. Let me see if I can do it on the deep side, right? I know how to swim, so let me see if I can do it on the deep side. Or I jumped in the pool, let me see if I can do a backflip now. Facing those fears is going to give you courage, because that is literally what courage means. The ability to do the things that frighten you. You need to boss up, put your big girl pants on, and face those fears. That is what's going to give you courage. And that is what you need to quantum leap, to step into the dream life that you imagine, to become the person that you imagine. And when you are doing these things, right, things are going to start changing for you, but you need to realize that you're still in a human body. So your mind might be way ahead of what your human body is doing. So sometimes, for example, I'll create a video, and when I am posting my videos, I do it later, and I have videos lined up for every week. And I might look back at as I'm editing the video to post that I recorded maybe 2 weeks ago, but I'm actually just now posting it, I'll look back like, wow, she's grown. She's grown. She speaks differently. She knows things that she didn't know before. I would have said it this way, but that's just learning. That's what growing is. So keep in mind that the rate that you're changing is going to have to be, you're going to have to be okay with being in a physical body that takes time to change, even if your mind is way ahead of you. So that's something to think about. All right. And while doing the things that you fear may still be hard to do because you're doing things that are scarier and scarier each time, or not even really scarier, but just on a larger scale than the previous fears that you faced, you're already prepared for that new level because you beat level 1, you beat level 2, and you beat level 3. Who used to play Super Mario Bros? I used to play Super Mario Bros on my DS. I still have my DS. Okay, I still have my DS. When I made it to World 8, it was scary. It was scary. But I had already been through World 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes I skipped worlds because I found the tunnels. And that's a whole other concept. But when you face those fears, you face Bowser on every single level. When you face Bowser in the final level, you prepared. You've beat every world. So keep going. That's going to give you the courage to keep going. So, why do we need courage? And why is it important? Remember, courage is the secret sauce. You're not getting anywhere because you're scared to do things. You're scared to show up. You're scared about what people are going to say about you. You're scared about what your friends might think. You're scared about what your family might think. Who cares? Who cares? In a very loving way, who cares? Because if they watch you, amazing. They're going to be learning from you. And if they don't watch you, amazing, because they're not watching you. So you don't have to think about them judging you. And once you continually put yourself out there and do the things that fear you over and over again, especially if putting yourself out there is something that you fear, those thoughts will be minimized and minimized and minimized. And you know what? People might actually come to you for help with certain things because they see, oh, they're doing something. This person is putting themselves out there. This person isn't scared. I think that courage is such a beautiful thing, putting yourself out there, because most people don't do that. So you're already setting yourself apart just by putting yourself out there, jumping, taking that leap. You're already different. You're already different. And courage connects you to your future self, the you that has already achieved all your desires. And another thing to note is that as you achieve your desires, there's going to be new ones that come. So you're going to have to continually re-up on courage over and over again, because just like you're facing those fears and you get bigger fears that you have to face, you will receive your desires, and then you will have bigger desires that you want to achieve. So you will always be connecting with your future self. It is a cyclical thing. It is something that you will be doing, but it is how you get to enjoy the journey that matters. Enjoy the journey that gets you to where you want to go. I think that's part of why we're here as humans, because we get to experience that and see things materialize on earth, whereas spirits don't always see the things. I don't even know what spirits do, but spirits don't always get to see the material things. We get to touch it and feel it. So that's cool. So when you have your courage, right, and you're stepping into the unknown, you're stepping into the future greatness of what your life will be. Staying in the known insinuates staying exactly where you are. That is scary. That is scary. Staying where you are is scary. Being stuck in the same spot for years and years and years is scary. Every year you want to look back and say, wow, I've grown so much. You don't want to look back and be like, wow, I'm really in the same place. Because You might be able to stay in the same place for years, but your body will be changing. You will be getting older and your youth will be escaping. So make sure that you're using your youth to your best advantage. You need courage because, like I mentioned before, people are going to hate on you. Do y'all know that Cat Williams that Cat Williams video? I seen it on TikTok, and he was saying something like about haters, and you need, I don't even know exactly what it is, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But people are gonna hate on you, and sometimes people see that as a scary thing. But I don't know if it's the culture that I grew up in or what. But when I have a hater, you don't know how that motivates me. It's like, wow, they're hating. They're hating. I must be that girl. So you need courage because sometimes it might hurt a little bit. Those haters, they might say things that actually sting. And if you get triggered, just know that that's something that you can work on. So you need to thank that hater. And having haters can be fun because it just is energy going toward you, and you don't have to accept that energy as negative. You can always turn it into a positive, but accept the energy because that's going to boost you up. That's going to give you, that's going to make you bigger. Okay? Back to the Super Mario Bros analogy. That energy is like a big mushroom, and then you eat the big mushroom and you get bigger and you get to step and stomp on all your haters and destroy that whole level and move on. So people are going to hate. That's just, that comes with it. But having courage gives you the ability to tune out the voices and see that you are doing things that they might be afraid to do. Therefore, they might be triggered and they have to say something. And something to note about this is that we as humans, we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against spiritual wickedness in high places. So please don't hate your brother or sister back. Right? They might be hating on you, but you need to love them. You need to pray for them. Tell God not to, charge them for that hate, and really just see it as a spirit working through them to try and attack you, especially as you are, getting to higher and higher levels. There might be spiritual attacks on you, but it's not the person. It is actually the spirit that is trying to attack you, and it's the enemy. So stomp on that enemy. Use that energy to get bigger and stomp on the enemy. You can do that. You can do that. By one example, someone says something bad about you, then, like I said, you just say, "Oh, you're thinking about me. Thank you for thinking about me. I'm in your mind. That must mean I'm doing something right to be in your mind." Right? If you're taking up space in people's minds, that's like taking up space in people's minds is kind of having a a mental real estate of sorts. So think about it like Monopoly. All these game analogies are so funny right now. But think about it like Monopoly, and you have a little house and it's yours, but you place it in their mind. Whether they don't like you or not, you're still in their mind. That's your real estate, that's your property, that's your asset. So you can always change it into something greater. And yeah, your brother, your sister, not literally just another human being, is not the problem, right? It's not, they're not the problem. It's the enemy that's the problem. So make sure that you're loving them. All right. So who needs courage? You. You need courage. If you don't get it by now, you're not going to be successful, period, especially as an artistic entrepreneur. I think that in order to truly achieve your dream life and be successful, you actually do have to be an artistic entrepreneur because it takes that balance between being an artist and being creative and seeing your creations come to life and having that, it's kind of like the feminine and the masculine, right? And having that planning and execution to bring it to life. That's the entrepreneurial part, learning about different skills that you need, learning how to sell, how to market. What does it really mean to market? What does it mean to brand yourself, to have a personal brand? Learning all these different things, plus having the creativity, the artistry, is what is going to help you actually achieve your dream life. You can't really have one. You can have money with one or the other, but will you have all the other things that make your quality of life better without them? Not really. You need them to work together, because money is not enough. It's not. There's so many people who are rich and unhappy, wealthy and unhappy. But as an artist and an entrepreneur, you get to have it all. So it takes courage to look back at your life and have no regrets. That is something that is kind of scary to think about, but it's a good exercise for you to do, to give you some courage. Because the years just passed. You were once 10. Now you're whatever age you're at. You were once 15. Now you're at whatever age you're at. And the time goes, but if you're not doing the things with the time that you want to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't feel good, I'll say, to feel like you're letting time pass, because time is a asset that is diminishing. It is diminishing. Now there's reverse aging and biohacking and stuff, so maybe you could get yourself some more time. Look into that if you've been wasting your time. But it would be better to get some courage and start doing the things that you really desire to do, to quantum leap and just jump into your dream life. And know that everything will follow that. Everything will come with that. Just keep going. It doesn't have to happen all at once. I think that even if we got it all at once, we wouldn't be satisfied. That's not how we work as humans. We kind of need to work for it a little bit to feel like we deserve it, and then feel satisfied, and then do that again and keep doing that. If we get it all at once, it doesn't feel as good. Think about it, right? If the teacher is handing out cupcakes one day just because y'all are her favorite students, versus if y'all worked hard that whole semester or whatever, and you had to earn it. Y'all were this close to not getting those cupcakes because of whatever, right? The grades weren't high enough, but then y'all made it together. Those cupcakes are gonna taste better than if she was just giving y'all cupcakes for no reason. Because we like to work for things as humans, right? We're in the material space. We're on Earth, so we need that aspect of working to build and be achieving something to make us feel good. All right, so living without regrets takes courage. It does. It really does. It does. Because your regret is on the side of you not having courage. That is the worst thing. If you are in a moment where there's something that's scaring you and you back down, you will regret. You will have a regret. So don't let that happen. Just boss up and do that thing. And sometimes thinking about the way that people around us will feel if we achieve success and they don't, can stop us. That is called dimming your light. That is dimming your light. Do not dim your light, because you will regret that. And what is scarier? Dying with regrets. Think about it. You're 100 years old, you're dying, your life was whack. I'm kidding. But there were so many things that you wanted to do in this life that you didn't get to do because you were kind of scared about what other people would think, or you didn't put the work in because you were scared for whatever reason. You didn't face those fears. So what's scarier, that or being an example of success? Being an example to others of what having courage and following your dreams looks like, and just being an example to them, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, if maybe they are not in the same space as you, in the same mindset as you, at least you're still an example, right? And a light that can encourage them to do better. So focus on your own thoughts. Don't focus on what other people think, because everybody's thinking something different. And honestly, you thinking about what other people think is just you putting your thoughts into their head about what they might think. Unless they actually tell you what they're thinking, you don't know. So here are some things that you can do in order to focus your thoughts on being more courageous. You need to do something that scares you every day for 7 days straight. For a week, do something that scares you. This is going to be fun. I want you to write down a list of things that scare you, and the biggest things on that list, tackle them. You could do one a day, you could do multiple a day. I say one big scary thing a day is enough to make you feel courageous. 2, speak from your diaphragm. Speaking from your diaphragm is going to help give you courage, because it is going to activate your energy centers, not only your throat energy center, but your solar plexus, your stomach. Those two working together, that's basically purpose and communication. That's going to give you some courage. All right. 3, if you go to the blog about courage, there's going to be an image at the bottom, and you'll basically see the third exercise that I have for you. So go check that out if you're interested on the third exercise, which I think is pretty cool. Now, let's get into exactly what are the components of the secret sauce, because we have the secret sauce is courage. We know that. But what are the components? Because there are some things that you put in the sauce. A little, what's in your secret sauce? And it's going to be different for everybody what's in their secret sauce, but I have some ingredients that are pretty much staples in your secret sauce. So let's get into that. Okay, I'm just going to give them to you. Here are some components of the secret sauce to being a successful artistic entrepreneur. Believe in yourself. Take risks. Value freedom over money. Seek God. Seek mentorship. And last but not least, create your ideal life model and live it. Now let's get into how to do these things. So, believing in yourself, I think you can draw on believing in yourself through looking back at the experiences that you've had when you have succeeded, and then knowing that that is embodied, knowing that that's already inside of you. And believing in yourself takes knowing yourself. There's so many little things that go into believing in yourself. You can say affirmations to believe in yourself, but you have to just know that you're that person. You have to know that you're it. You have to know that you can do the things that you say you will do. And so believe in yourself by actually doing the things that you say you will do, even if it's something small, such as going to the gym. I'm going to the gym, go to the gym, and that will increase your belief in yourself. And so having the mix of all these qualities will make sure that you embody your life of honey. It will make sure that you embody a life filled with richness, abundance, and happiness. And one of the first steps is actually knowing that that is what you want. A lot of people may think that's what they want, or maybe they really want it, but they never they never go after it. They never do enough. Okay, but if this is you and you want to create your money story, you want to know how to build financial vitality, because that is definitely a part of being successful. And if you're ready to accept that fact, I have a training called Create Your Money Story that is going to give you all the inner work that gets you into shifting your mindset into attracting money, creating the story that actually you want to live. And we'll talk about more how to create your life design. That was one of the components of the secret sauce. So, a big part of that is knowing how much money you want to make, right? Getting to the details of what you believe about money. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Are you spending every time that you receive money? Can you hold on to it? So check out the training if you are interested in creating your money story and having your wealth your way. Because again, it's not enough to just make money. You want it your way. You want to have integrity with the way that you are creating wealth. So here's part of my story. When I was 17, I had an internship. I was lucky enough to get an internship at a construction company. This was after my sophomore year of high school. So I was going into my junior year of high school, and I had an internship that undergraduate college students and graduate university students were in. And I was not even truly aware of the huge blessing of an experience that I had. But let me tell y'all, I was so miserable that summer at that internship. So every day I woke up super early because I lived in the Bronx. The internship was all the way deep, deep, deep in Manhattan. So my train ride was 2 hours. So I have to wake up super early to get there by 8 or 9. I forget what time it was. I believe it was about 8 o'clock in the morning that I had to be there. Then I had to work for however long, and they actually did not even give me work to do. So I would be sleeping and they would catch me sleeping and say, hey, you're not supposed to be sleeping. Then I'd be like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because y'all aren't giving me any work. And I would get up and ask, hey, do you need help? And they make me do some little thing here, like, oh, go print this or go staple this. It was nothing that really set me on fire, that gave me a sense of purpose. I was miserable there. So 5 o'clock comes, I take the train home. By the time I get home, it's late. All I can do is eat dinner because I got to go to sleep so that I can wake up early and get back to this internship, because I had this great opportunity and I wanted to make people proud, right? So that made me miserable. There were some good things, such as they would bring in snacks. If you're in an office type of culture, usually there are some days where they'll bring in snacks for the team, and you have a little ice cream or cookies or whatever, a little pick me up. Also, there was a certain point in the summer where on Fridays we got out early. So it was only like 8 to 12. So it was only 4 hours and I had the rest of the day. But let me tell you what that did for me as a 17-year-old. It showed me that, hey, my summers are supposed to be fun. If this is what adulthood is like, this is not what I want at all. At all. I do not want this. I abhorred it. I really don't like using the word hate, but I kind of hated it. And I just really disliked it a lot. I was not hanging out with the people that I wanted to because I had to work. And it was so far. And I got no tan that summer because I was in formal clothing. I didn't learn that much. I met a few cool people, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. It was not for me. So at the end of this internship, I made a promise to myself that I would never work a office job like that in my life. I made a promise. I remember that vividly, saying, if this is what people do with their life for 40 plus years, that's not going to be me. But I didn't know what I was doing at that point. I didn't know I was setting myself up to be an entrepreneur. That wasn't my thought process. It was just, I know I don't want this, so I'm not going to do this. And the good thing about this internship was that I was making money. Okay. So I was getting paid, or what I thought was money, right? So I was getting paid internship hourly rate that was high, and I was still in high school, so I was saving up for the school year. That was the one good part about it. But it also made me see money differently, because I thought to myself, if this is what people do just for money, it's not enough for me. I'm the type of person that it's not enough for me. And I think that part of that was being an artist, having that rebellious spirit of, I'm not doing this, right, just for money. So that's where one of the secret sauce components comes in. Valuing your freedom over money is very important. Okay, so why this is important is because that when you are starting a business, there's no guarantee that your business will be lucrative. And you don't know how long it's going to take for your business to start making money. But when you have the belief in yourself that we discussed, another component of the secret sauce, you know that eventually it will start making money. And then it starts making money, right? So that just feeds into your belief in yourself even more, even more. So another reason that it's important to care more about your freedom than money is because that believing in yourself is the ultimate freedom. You know that no matter the obstacle, no matter what gets in your way, you eliminate doubt. You eliminate doubt. This goes back to having faith. Faith is the actual enemy of doubt. Faith and doubt is the enemy of faith. If you have doubt creep in, your faith will just wither. Think about the story when Jesus was walking on the water and Peter walked out to him, but then Peter started to sink because the wind started blowing crazy, and then Jesus had to catch him from drowning. And, and Jesus was like, "Oh, thee of little faith," or whatever Jesus said. And he was like, "When did you start doubting? When did you start doubting?" Because that is going to be the true enemy of your faith and your belief in yourself. Doubt. Eliminate that by simply knowing that it's fake. Knowing that the doubt is fake is enough to eliminate it, and just keep telling yourself that when it comes up, you will kill it. You will kill it, and it will get stronger over time. Your ability to eliminate doubt, and you're going to just kill it, okay? So believing in yourself is the ultimate freedom. And when you adopt this mindset, you know the money is coming because you have the belief and confidence in yourself to solve any problem. So if the problem is that your business isn't making money, you have the belief that you can solve that problem and have your business starting to make money. Remember, there's two sides to every coin. If your business is not making money, there's a side to the coin of that, and the other side is your business is making money. So all you got to do is figure out how to get to that side. And usually it's a jump that you need to make, a quantum jump that you need to make, and that involves courage. Whatever is the scariest thing for you, that's probably going to help you getting over that fear. So, believing yourself conquers any problems around money, which results in freedom, which is the priority, right? You're going to have to care about freedom more than money, because if not, you're just going to work for money, paycheck to paycheck, because that's what you care about more than your freedom, more than your time. You just want the money, go and do that. But if you want to be a successful artistic entrepreneur, it's going to have to take more than that. You're going to have to value freedom over money, believe in yourself, and know that you can conquer any problem that arises. Have that faith. Know who you are, right? Know who you are. Especially my black people, know who you are, all right? Know who you are. Once your business is lucrative, and you are a successful artistic entrepreneur, and you have the freedom that you felt and anticipated from the beginning, because you already had freedom, because you valued your freedom more, the money starts to grow, right? So you're not tethered to an employer that's going to decide this and that for you. And you're not going to have fear of losing your job. So the money from the business is going to fuel your freedom, and it starts to make its own money through compounding. So your desire for money will actually, in a way, decrease because you're focusing on being free, and that's going to get you the money. That makes sense. It's almost like the law of, what's that law? Detachment. When you let go of the thing that you're desiring and it just comes because you're focusing on something else that's actually good for you. And I have a video on this too if you're interested, and it's called, I forget what it's called, but it's either the thumbnail or the title is Stop Scaring the Hoes. I think it's the title, Stop Scaring the Hoes. And that's a pretty good analogy that I made. So go, I'm gonna link that for y'all too. Because that's real. That's a real, those are real techniques to detach. So what makes us feel free? The things that make us feel free are our art, focusing on our art and sharing our heart, and producing the things that we want to see that we know will help people, and using our gifts to help people is what will give you that freedom as an artistic entrepreneur, because you have to be producing your art to feel free, or else you'll feel trapped, like you're doing something out of, you don't know why. You don't know why you're doing it. When you give a purpose behind what you're doing, that makes it art. That makes it have soul behind it. That gives it spirit. That gives it life. And people can feel that. We are spiritual beings and we are physical beings. And our spirits feel. We feel that connection when someone puts energy and love in their hearts into their art. We can feel that. And that makes us feel free, and it makes other people feel free too. It's liberating. It's contagious. Also, make your own rules. We live in a world where there's so many rules set up for us, but make your own rules. And I was talking about cupcakes earlier, but I'm going to tell you another story, and it has to do with cupcake. So make your own rules. Since I was a child, I have been sort of rebellious. I am a middle child. That might come with that. So I've always not liked authority, not liked any rules, and I was doing things. And I've learned how to behave better over time. That just comes with time. You learn to do things to behave. But when I was a child, this was a problem, especially because I was in Catholic school. So I would get in trouble. And there was one time I would always get sent out the classroom. Always get sent out the classroom. So there was one time that they sent me out the classroom and they sent me to a teacher's room. And this teacher, her name, should I say her name? Well, there's so many. Her teacher, the teacher's name was Miss Scott, right? So Miss Scott was notorious for being the big, bad, scary teacher. If you got sent to Miss Scott's class, whew, Lord, prepare to get yelled at or whatever, right? So I got sent out the classroom. I'm probably in third grade. Miss Scott was a fifth grade teacher. So I'm walking and I knock on the door. Miss Scott opens the door and I walk into, and mind you, this was the end of the school day. So they really sent me out the classroom at the end of the school day extra anyways. So I knock on the door, Scott opens the door, and I walk into a party. It was a child's birthday party. And so I'm in trouble, but I walk into a party, right? And Miss Scott knew I was in trouble. She told me to go sit down in the corner while I watched the kids have fun and they're eating and just having a blast for whoever's birthday it was. Then she came and she talked to me, right? Asked me, you know, what was I sent for? Why'd I get in trouble? Gave me some advice and just talked to me. And then she left me alone for a bit. And next thing you know, she was bringing me a cupcake. I feel like she told me to say something like I would do better or something before she gave me the cupcake. But she gave me the cupcake and I was happy. So Miss Scott turned out not to be this scary woman who people were talking about, but actually a good woman who spoke, who cared for me in that moment. And this just goes to show that sometimes not following the rules is actually going to get you a reward. I was a little bit scared of Miss Scott, but at the same time, I knew that if I needed to, I could boss up and have courage and face my fears. I wasn't really trying to go there because, I was a little scared, like I said. But I think that feeling of kind of not regretting what I did and standing firm in just being myself. I probably got in trouble for being myself, for just talking, right? I'm talking too much. You get sent at the classroom. And I got a cupcake out of that. So that is another part of the secret sauce. Make your own rules, because otherwise people are going to make the rules for you. And sometimes you won't like those rules. Sometimes you might like them. You might like being a goody two shoes and following the rules. But I didn't like that. And I think that the rebellious spirit is definitely needed in order to create something that's different than other people and be different than other people. So make your own rules. You're taking a huge risk by being an entrepreneur. So being rebellious has its rewards. And being an entrepreneur, you have to take risks in order to receive rewards. And when you take a risk, you are exposing yourself to danger. And this is something that rebels are intimate with. We like to expose ourselves to danger. Why? I don't know. But these risks have huge rewards on the other side. Okay. And there is a downside to taking risks and being an artistic entrepreneur. That downside is that sometimes you will not have a clue what you're doing. And this is because you are making your own rules. You are forging your own path. You are creating your own lane. Therefore, there are certain blueprints that you can follow, but not every blueprint is going to align with the business that you are creating. It's going to be a reflection of you, your business. So it's going to look different. And so you have to actually get very familiar with yourself, become super self aware in order to be creating this lane for yourself and have it, your business, be successful. And sometimes that means you will be clueless. But the thing that you need to do in those moments that you are clueless is simply just take the next step. Make it super simple, right? You could really be honest with yourself. I have no idea what to do, but I'm not going to stop. So, what is one thing that I can do? And then do that thing. And then ask yourself again, what is one thing that I can do, and do that thing? Because you're going to get to a point where you can be like, okay, I know where I'm going again. I know the path again. And I just had to realign myself. Because sometimes are if you are in tune with your intuition and you get to a point where you don't have a clue, that must mean that you took a wrong step somewhere and your intuition is trying to guide you back to where you need to go. So you just have to follow that until you get back on your path. And following your intuition just looks like taking the next step that your body says to do. And writing down a plan can really help you with this. So here is another component that you need in your secret sauce, which is creating your ideal life model. There are so many questions that you need to ask yourself, right? And you need to see what your life looks like in 5 years, right? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years, in 3 years, in 6 months? Why do you want it to look like this? How can you get it to look like this? What are 3 goals that you can focus on for the next 3 months to get it to look like this? Then you create a plan for it. Okay, so say one of those goals is I want to read one book a week. Okay, that means I need to be reading 30 minutes to an hour every single day or something like that. You create a plan with actionable steps, and that will help you create the life design that you want because you are following those goals for whatever reason. Say back to the book thing. You want to read books because you know that in this life design you're creating, you want to be able to be knowledgeable and give wisdom and education to people. So that looks like reading more. So, boom, you align with that, create the actionable steps to get there, and then you follow that, right? So, keep creating that and then create the plan and live the plan. Sometimes the plan don't work. So don't be afraid of that because we get ahead of ourselves and create plans when God has other plans for us. And that is where sometimes you might feel like you're not having a clue, but then you recalibrate and do it again. And God has a way of getting us to our destination better than we ever could have come up with. That's just what God does. It amazes me every time I write a plan, right? Say I do a 3 month plan, the 3 months is up, and I look back and I'm like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. But actually, I got there, which was the bigger goal. I got there and I learned so much more than if I actually had followed my plan step by step. Because sometimes you write things that you might be able to discard, you don't need them anymore. The old person who wrote them needed it, but you're now a new person because you're always growing. So keep that in mind, but keep making the plans because it kind of sets your intention on something. It gives you a blueprint to follow. Okay, so we talked about believing in yourself, we talked about taking risks, we talked about creating your ideal life model and living it. Now, and we talked about valuing freedom over money. So there's two other secret sauce components. The number one thing is honestly seeking God. Seek God. This means prayer. This means doing the right thing. This means having your eyes open. This means leaning into light rather than darkness. This means knowing the truth, following that truth, no matter what these people are saying. If you know the truth, follow the truth, no matter what people are saying, because there's so many false teachers out here. This means going to your word, going to the scripture to see what the truth is. And then if there's any discrepancies in your life, changing those things to follow and be in alignment with what the truth is. Always choosing the light, always choosing righteousness, seeking God. That is a huge component of the secret sauce. That is, come on, that is like the salt or something. Without the salt, the secret sauce is nasty. So seeking God. Another and last final component that I will say as an ingredient in the secret sauce to being a successful artistic entrepreneur is seeking mentorship. Now, seeking mentorship can be a little bit tricky because if you have, sometimes you don't have the people around you who you feel like are in a position to tell you and give you advice because you may not want your life to look like that. That's why we have the internet. That's why we have people we look up to. That's why there's there's people out there giving things. There's so many coaches. There's so many people who are mentors that you can go to. There's so many groups that you can find and find like-minded people, let alone the church. There's the church that you can ask the pastor or the women in the church for advice. You seek mentorship because we cannot lean on our own understanding. Sometimes, sometimes our hearts, following your heart might not get you where you need to go. Sometimes the heart is it, the information it's giving is not accurate because the heart is fully emotional. The heart is just ba 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 ba, and following that can be great, but we also sometimes need to we can be wrong, so we need to seek mentorship and see if we are right, if we're wrong, and really get to know ourselves better. If you are seeking mentorship, I do have a coaching program called Nectar Coaching. I will link that in the description for you. And if I'm not the mentor for you, if I'm not the coach for you, just seek mentorship on your entrepreneurial journey, especially if you're an artist, because artists, we are full of that heart and that passion. So we need to be be level sometimes. I had a mentor who he would put me, I would tell him things and he would never, discard my dreams or anything, but he would be like, okay, like you're up here, let's get to the practical. Like, what are the steps down here that you need to take? And I didn't want to do those steps. I wanted to avoid the steps because I want to stay up here where my dreams are, but not sometimes, not even sometimes, we need to get those steps. And sometimes other people will help us see that better than we can. I think there's a reason why we cannot see our faces. Literally, and sometimes I think about this and it freaks me out. But yes, I can see my face in the mirror or through a camera, through pictures, but I can't see my face ever. I could touch it, but I can never see my face. I could see my hands, I could see my arms, my legs. I could see a lot of different parts of my body, but we can't see our face. And I think that God did that for a reason, right? I could even see my back if I turn my neck good enough, right? I'm pretty flexible, but we can't see our faces. And I think it's because we are almost like mirrors to each other, and other people will see things in you and are meant to see the things in you and show you things that you are not meant to see or that you will never see. And they can reveal those things to you. So I feel like as I am going on this journey as a successful artistic entrepreneur, there's so much more that I have been learning. Like I recently just learned what selling actually means. What does it mean to sell to people and how to actually help people? Because, you think selling is buy this from me because I know this and you don't, and I will help you know. That's not what selling is. So, as I continue learning, I'm thinking about making this artistic entrepreneur thing a series because literally we're all here to succeed. And there's things that we all need to know and sharing and discuss, honestly. And I love discussing. So hopefully you enjoyed these. Read the blogs if you're interested in this. And now you have the secret sauce. You know that the name of the secret sauce is courage, and you have the components of the secret sauce. So go ahead and tell me a component of the secret sauce that you think is important that I might have left out. And stay golden.